Hi, I'm Marty Nemco. I just made a video called Lessons from My Failures, and so I thought to balance things out, I would do a one that was Lessons from My Successes. Um, First is this: just because you're good at something doesn't mean you should do it as your career. I was a professional pianist from when I was 12 till I was 22. I played over 2,000 professional gigs um, in New York City, and made a lot of money. And everybody said that was going to be your career. But in the end, I found myself feeling empty. While I enjoyed the buffets and I even enjoyed playing Hava Nagila and the like, it felt empty. So your career choice should be an amalgamation of your natural skills, but also what you like to do and what you value as important. I liked to think that I had something of a brain and just didn't want to spend the entire time playing the tarantella. There was more there. Um, then it was baseball. Because I was a pianist, my parents didn't want me playing little league ball or anything like that because they were afraid I was going to break my fingers or whatever and it would hurt my piano playing. So, but I always loved playing ball. I've been not a great athlete, but a good athlete all my life, and so I tried out for the freshman baseball team at Queens College, Division III, nothing big, um, and made the team because I tried so hard. And even though I had no experience, there was nobody who would even during the tryouts when they had us do like races, nobody tried harder and then during practice, no one ran harder in practice than I did. And so when it came time from the freshman team to then go to the varsity, I got a strong endorsement from the coach. So really, in many areas, hard work can trump even talent and experience. Next, luck. I'm amazed at the power of luck. While I was in college, I drove a taxi cab and by chance, got some guy in the cab who was a distinguished professor at the Rockefeller University, and it just happened. I had taken a course in physiological psychology, so that when I asked him his name and he said Neil Miller, I said half jokingly, "I'm not letting you out of the cab until you give me a job." This was before the internet, and I went right home after my shift, and I wrote a letter, and indeed I got hired, and spent my last year of college at the Rockefeller University, which was great. But the real luck was um, my college, Queens College, gave me an A for that year of work, and when I applied to graduate schools, UC Berkeley only counted the last year's grades in determining your GPA, and because it was all just from that field work at Rockefeller, I was perceived as having a 4.0, even though my overall GPA for my 4 years at college was only 3.3, and so Berkeley admitted me into their doctoral program with a full traineeship, which they never would have done, I'm sure, had had I not gotten that bit of luck. So don't you have to realize there's a lot of luck in this world. It's not all skill, and be grateful for the good luck you've gotten. It's an old cliche. I think it was Woody Allen who said 80% of success is showing up. Indeed, that was very much true for me. I'd never taken a broadcasting course, but my my daughter had a friend over to the house. We were kind of all bored. I said, "Hey, let me play radio talk show host. What do you guys want to talk about?" And they said birth order, and I plugged in a $5 microphone into my $100 dubbing cassette deck, and I moderated an interview, made a couple of copies of the tape, and sent them out to three radio stations. And lo and behold, one of them responded 2 days later, and 24 years later, I'm still on the air on the smaller of the two NPR stations in San Francisco. Um, Similarly, after I'd written my first book, How to Get Your Child a Private School Education in a Public School, I knew nothing about marketing. I'm definitely not a marketing-oriented guy, but I did know that the radio show that had the most authors on was something called the Ron Owens Show. So I sent him a note and I simply said, um, I just wrote this book. I thought it might be good for your show. If you think so too, give me a call. I get a call the next day from his producer who says that was the briefest pitch letter we've ever gotten. Ron thinks that if you're that concise and respectful in writing, you're going to be concise on the air. Come on the air. Since then, it's been 26 years. I've been on the show literally 100 times, and it is for most of that 26 years, it was one of the most listened to shows on the entire West Coast. So again, just showing up, just sending it in. It's not always going to work. I've sent a ton of stuff in, and it's gone nowhere. But definitely, you can survive the failure. That's an important lesson. You can survive a lot of rejection. Just realize it's part of life and just keep putting your stuff out there. The importance of writing clearly rather than to impress. When I was in graduate school, they teach you how to write very complicated, absolutely airtight writing. You know, the preponderance of the evidence suggests that the data might be secure if we conducted the following studies. And that, while it may be airtight, it's also impenetrable for most people. And so when I decided to write my first book, it was kind of luck too. I decided to send drafts to my next door neighbor because he was willing, and my daughter's best friend's mom, who was a kindergarten teacher, and my next door neighbor was a plumber, and they gave me really good feedback about where I wasn't being clear, and so that was a huge lesson. I try when I speak and when I write not to be unintelligent, but to be as crystal clear as possible and put any ego aside, not try to impress, but just emphasize clarity over everything. So those are some of the lessons I've learned from my successes, and hope they may be useful to you. At least one of them would be. And I welcome you reading my stuff. All my articles, tweets, blog stuff can be accessed from martynemko.com, martynemko.com. And thanks for watching. I am Marty Nemko.